Hello and welcome to another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla. Of course, I am your mayor of PHNX. This guy's sipping LaCroix next to me.
I am.
Is the person you lodge all of your complaints with. It's the vice mayor, the one and only Thunderstick Jesse Friedman.
Ryne Nelson, Derek. That was something.
Pretty good.
D-backs bullpen. That was also something.
Oh, I hate you so much. This show is brought to you by the fine folks at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use our code of PHNX and get yourself all sorts of goodies. Of course, it is America's top-rated sportsbook app. As Jesse brought up, of course, we are all Ryne Nelson fans today after he made his second career start in the big leagues, and we did not see any regression from him at all. 6 scoreless innings. He sets a Diamondbacks franchise record now with 13 consecutive scoreless innings to start his career and counting, because that's still not over. And it's just been an extremely impressive, just not only debut, but again, following up pitching that way against the Padres, against the Los Angeles Dodgers, like he did last night.
Yeah.
The names that he has overpowered, the names that he left 0-4 in the lineup, there's a lot of big names in there. So There's no fear in Ryne Nelson's game, and I think that's probably the one thing right now that's setting him apart. His ability to attack the strike zone fearlessly. It's almost like he has no concept of how good these guys he's batting against are.
Yeah, like you might want to be a little more careful with some of them, honestly, if anything. But yeah, you just love to see young guys come up and just attack the strike zone, show fearlessness. His major league debut, he's facing Manny Machado and Juan Soto, right off the bat. And then in this start, the first inning, it's Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Trey Turner. He had to face all three of those guys in the first inning. He just comes right after him. I think it was a 10-pitch 1-2-3 first inning. And he just sort of continued from there. The stuff remained really good. It was around 95 miles an hour for his four-seam fastball throughout the game. Dipped a little bit at the end of the game. It seemed like his stuff did drop off a little bit in the sixth inning, but he was still able to finish a scoreless outing. And against a team like the Dodgers, that is very, very impressive.
More importantly, he was still way more effective than the bullpen once they came in after he left the game, because holy shit, they couldn't seem to get anyone out after that point. It was frustrating to watch, especially considering that Ryne Nelson was only at, I believe, 80, 81 pitches, something like that, when they pulled him from the game. I know what Jesse's saying, and I think the idea there is the opposite of what we've seen Torey Lovullo do at times this season. I think when you are doing so well against a team like the Dodgers, the last thing you want is your confidence to be shook by going out there for a seventh inning that might involve you getting rocked by this team that now is familiar with you. They've seen you a couple times through the lineup, and now they might be ready to kind of match up between, like you said, his velocity dipping and them kind of getting to know him a little bit better. But I still feel like, I mean, you couldn't have a more encouraging outing. We talked about Zac Gallen and how impressive what he did for those 6 outings really was. Let's just take a moment to truly appreciate how impressive Ryne Nelson has been. I don't think anybody could have expected him to be this good, this fast. And to be honest, it already feels like there's this settling down about what the Diamondbacks are going to do about their starting rotation. Because if Ryne Nelson can continue to be this good or even close to this good, he is easily a number 3 starter in their rotation. And I say that because now Madison Bumgarner would need to be moved down to 4th or 5th in the rotation.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he's more than a quarter of the way through to Zac Gallen's streak, right? He's coming. Right. He's coming for you, Zach. He's coming for you. He's got 13 scoreless innings, well on his way to 44 1/3 already. No, I actually agreed with the decision that Torey made to take him out after 6 innings, although Torey said after the game that he probably had about 10 or 12 more pitches that he could have thrown. But he just didn't want to get Ryne into a situation where he started an inning that he couldn't finish.
Sure.
The Diamondbacks bullpen obviously has not been reliable, to say the least, as of late, and unfortunately that did show itself in this game. But it seemed like in the 6th inning, Ryne Nelson's stuff was just not as sharp as we saw earlier in the game. There were some 92-mile-an-hour fastballs. It seemed like there was a decent drop-off there. It seemed like the Dodgers were just getting better reads on some of his pitches. So I didn't mind the move at the end of the day, but it's on some level, Derek. I mean, you feel like you'd rather just stick with your starting pitcher for 9 innings, given the state of the Diamondbacks bullpen right now. And I don't know. I mean, Kyle Nelson comes in and he allows 3 runs and he didn't get an out.
It was a brilliant move though, right? They tried to fucking like sleight of hand us and put a Nelson in for a Nelson, like thinking the Dodgers weren't going to notice.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, the Dodgers did appear totally to notice. Yeah.
And I mean, obviously the criticism is because then the team went on to do what it did. I know Torey gets a lot of the criticism for that. And honestly, it doesn't seem like he can do the right move no matter what at times. And I don't know if that's his fault, right? Like, he's putting the trust in arms in their bullpen, big league pitchers who have been doing this for years, to come in and be able to hold a game scoreless for 1 inning, half an inning, whatever they can do. And unfortunately, it seems like nobody can really be counted on out of the bullpen. And I don't know. Yeah, like it just seems like no matter the decision he goes with is bad. And I'm not going to acknowledge that comment, but I'll say this. The bullpen does give up 6 runs in 2 2/3 after Nelson went 6 scoreless, right? And I think that's the big thing is it's just hard to watch your rookie pitcher who is inexperienced, who was giving up runs all the time in Reno, come up and be this effective and have your entire bullpen shit the bed like that yet again. I mean, how many losses this season has the bullpen?
35.
Chalked up, Jesse?
35
losses.
I mean, they've lost 74 games.
Right. And again, it's like, it's not that like some losses are going to go on every bullpen. That's the way it works. But I'm just saying that it's the most in baseball, and it continues to be a terrible sore point for the Diamondbacks. What another terrible sore point is besides that is Jordan Luplow. And we know what Jordan Luplow was doing in the minor leagues, and we understand why they called him back up. But Jordan Luplow immediately gets put into the lineup. A lot of people don't like that because obviously we already have a crowded outfield, and that question seems to come up considering that he's slashing 187, 272, 473 against lefties.
Well, that probably went down after yesterday.
It did, and he had 2 inning-ending double plays.
You mean the guy who's hitting 160 on the season doesn't deserve a spot in an already completely and utterly crowded outfield? Is that what you're saying?
Against lefties, he's supposed to hit against lefties.
I know. Yeah, and like
against lefties.
I sort of get it. I mean, like that slash line against lefties isn't good, but it's still like okay, I guess. And so I can see where the Diamondbacks are coming from in that they're trying to figure out, frankly, Derek, if Jordan Luplow is worth bringing back for next year. That's what the Diamondbacks are trying to figure out right now. And maybe they've already decided that he's not.
The answer is no.
The answer may well be no. But if they don't want to bring him back, what they could be trying to do is maybe setting up a trade, trying to showcase him for other teams, which I know it seems weird to showcase a guy who's
keep
struggling.
Him in Reno. That's how you showcase him. Keep him in Reno.
I mean, he raked in Reno.
I know.
Like, for the record, he did
home runs a game.
Yeah, he did. Well, not every game.
Every game.
Yeah, he averaged 3 home runs per game. No, that did not happen. But Jordan Luplow is the kind of guy that theoretically should have some value to a major league team at some point here. And I know it's been a down year for him, but I think the D-backs still have some belief that he can be the guy that they acquired, that he can be someone who can do some damage against lefties, which is something they sorely need. I understand the criticism, and frankly, this isn't the move that I would have made for whatever that's worth, but that's where the D-backs are coming from. They're trying to figure out, like, is Jordan Luplow part of the future here? Is he someone that they're going to non-tender in a few months and just decide to move on from? Or is he someone that they want to bring back next year if he's able to show some good things down the stretch?
And keep in mind, Torey has nothing to do with them calling him up. He does have to do plenty with him being in the lineup yesterday, however, though.
Yeah, and Torey said yesterday, and this shocked me. He said that Jordan Luplow will get every lefty. That's what he told Jordan Luplow. He told us that's what he told to Jordan Luplow.
What, before or after the game?
Before the game. Before the game.
That might have changed
maybe,
after the
yeah,
game.
Maybe. I mean, it was just
it after the game.
It was an 0 for 3, but but yeah, it sounds
with
like
2 double plays that ended the inning, Jesse. That they had guys on base. They had such little offense last night. I mean, 3 guys had a hit each, and then Ketel Marte was the only saving grace offensively last night.
Ketel Marte looked good.
Is he back? Is he back? Is he back?
I wouldn't go that far.
2 for 3 with a double and a walk. He looked good last night. So it's something to build on. Let's just say
something to build on.
Definitely. If we want to keep being sad, the Dodgers become the first team in Major League Baseball to clinch a playoff spot. No dip in the pool this time, though, because apparently there was confusion as if they had clinched the day before or clinched yesterday or when they clinched.
They have already clinched a playoff spot, but they could clinch the NL West title today. Yeah. That's what could still happen. Yeah, so
that's gross.
Yeah.
Don't jump in our pool again.
This is why we're bringing Derek. We're going to force Derek out to the ballpark tonight, and Derek is going to play guardian of the swimming pool. He's going to make sure that the Dodgers players do not jump in the swimming pool.
The last time they did that, I was also there, and I could have stopped them, and I didn't.
Yeah. Where were you?
That's a good question. I was busy getting champagne out of my eyes after Adrian Gonzalez sprayed me in the face with a bottle of champagne.
Did you go in the Dodgers locker room?
Of course I went in the Dodgers locker room. I went in with Pedro Gomez, who actually gave me some sage advice. Pedro Gomez walked into the clubhouse. He proceeded to turn immediately and go to the farthest corner away from the scrum. And I asked him, are you not coming to the party? And he goes, no. He's like, and if I was you, I wouldn't either. And I just went right in there. And let me tell you, champagne stings, folks. Champagne is one of the worst.
They didn't give you a pair of goggles or anything?
No. When I came back, I think 2 years later, I came back and I did bring goggles when the Diamondbacks celebrated when they got that wild card spot. So that was, I learned. See, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But of course, the best way to get fooled is with our friends at OG's Gummies, because then you'll enjoy being fooled. You'll enjoy it and you'll embrace it. And of course, they have a variety of doses, strains, and flavors, but most importantly, it's the flavors. They're all about flavoring life. They have wonderful, delicious edibles that, of course, are the best-selling edibles in the state of Arizona. So make sure to try them out. They have a variety of doses for you, whether you're a beginner or you're an OG veteran like myself. Make sure to check out all that they have to offer. And also, we are giving away some stuff over at gophnx.com. If you haven't signed up already, make sure to sign up for our Flavoring Life sweepstakes with our friends from OG's Gummies. You can win yourself 3 bags of gummies, including my favorite orange creamsicle, as well as an OG's hat, a PHNX membership, and a PHNX shirt of your choosing from the PHNX Locker. So make sure to sign up for that at gophnx.com. And if you can't, make sure to stop by and find OG's near you. You can look on their website at ogsbrands.com or on Instagram at ogsbrands. That's OGEZ brands to find them. And of course, must be 21 years or older to enjoy. And also, that's not the only giveaway that we have. We are going to be out with our friends from the Phoenix Cardinals. Phoenix Cardinals. I said Phoenix Cardinals. Four Peaks is what I was going to say. And I was going to say for the Arizona Cardinals. There was a lot of stuff going on in my brain all there at once. But this Saturday, the 18th, we're going to be out for Arizona Cardinals versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I hope things go a little bit better this time than they went last time. But, of course, you can join us out at the 8th Street Pub, Four Peaks. All their wonderful beer, all their wonderful chicken tenders are available to you. Enjoy drink specials, Cardinals ticket giveaways, and a 220-inch screen experience. Click the link below in our description. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy, and enjoy responsibly. And, of course, you get a free beer with that $5 ticket. If you can't join us down at the Four Peaks Pub, make sure to grab some Four Peaks at your local grocery store and enjoy that while watching the Cardinals, hopefully kick some butt against the Raiders. I say hopefully now because I've lost all confidence. This weekend was filled with L's for me from Friday to Sunday to Monday. I lost against fucking Totri in fantasy football by half a point. By half a point, Jesse.
Of all the people to lose to.
Of all the people to lose to.
My goodness.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I could respect if you lost to, Saul or Leah,
no, I could too.
Or maybe Sean.
Somebody of substance.
Yeah, somebody of substance.
A decent human being. Maybe. Yeah. But Totri? Oh, man.
We love you, Totri. We give Totri so much shade on the show.
He's in my phone as fucking Totri. That's how he is with a little poop emoji. But anyway, more importantly, more important awards than just me winning my fantasy football games. We have the NL Cy Young Award race heating up, and of course, our baby boy Zac Gallen, the milkman, is part of this race. Let's take a look at some of the other contenders that Jesse has named, not only here, but in his article that you can read over at gophnx.com. But Jesse, what are your thoughts on Zac Gallen's actual chances here at winning this award?
They're not great. To be honest. I'll start there. I also have to acknowledge that Julio Urias had a very nice start over the weekend for the Dodgers, and arguably should also be on this list, but he plays for the Dodgers, so we just throw his name off the list. Sandy Alcantara, the name at the top of the list here, and these are in order of wins above replacement. I took Baseball Reference WAR and Fangraphs WAR and averaged the two, so that's where the WAR column comes from. Sandy Alcantara, as you can see, has a pretty healthy lead here. And his biggest advantage is the fact that he's thrown 196 and 2/3 innings. He's probably going to throw like 220, 225 innings by the end of the season, which is very impressive. Not something you really see that often in baseball these days. And you can see Zac Gallen's thrown 158.2. So there's about a 40 innings gap here between where Alcantara is at and where Zac Gallen is. So his hope is that he's just gotta not allow a run for the rest of the year, or like allow maybe one or two. I mean, that's sort of what it would take at this point for Zac Gallen to be able to overtake Alcantara.
Right.
The other thing is Alcantara hasn't pitched very well lately. He has an ERA over 4 in his last like 4 or 5 starts, something like that. So
that ERA is kind of ballooned up technically.
It has. Yeah, Alcantara's ERA was 1.88 or something like that about a month ago, and now it's 2.43. So if his ERA goes up enough, so that there's like a decent gap between Gallen's ERA and Alcantara's ERA, you could see that maybe making up for the innings disparity between the two guys. But unfortunately, that innings disparity is huge, and it's not just Zac Gallen. Like Max Fried is still, about 30 innings away there. Carlos Rodon.
It's a huge gap. It's kind of like Michael McDermott said, then a big gap to Fried. And it's also the same thing with the performances. To be honest, I mean, Alcantara's been far and away the best pitcher in the National League this year. But like you said, he came back down to earth here over the last 4 or 5 starts. And
he was running away with it. Like as of a month or two ago, it was like, oh my gosh, like Sandy Alcantara is way ahead in the Cy Young race. But now the gap is narrowed, but he's still definitely the favorite for sure.
So if we're being hopeful, what we do have to say there is that, Alcantara could completely, kind of fizzle out here at the end. And maybe there's a chance that Gallen catches up to him. Gallen still has the best whip in the league, and he has been on fire as of late. Like you said, that last start really didn't help his overall numbers.
No, I mean, at Coors Field, like 6 innings, 3 runs, 11 strikeouts. I mean, it's hard to be like too mad at that.
Yeah, right.
But
it's still not perfect. It's still not lowering
his ERA. Like as strange as it is, and as someone who is, has sort of bought into this analytics movement. I know that shocks everyone for me to say that I like baseball stats.
This guy?
I know, shocking.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know. But ERA is still king at the end of the day. If you look over like the last 5 years or so of Cy Young winners, the player who led the league in ERA wins the award. I think has won the award about 70% of the time over the last 5 years. So Julio Urias actually has the best ERA in the National League right now. His innings total is even lower than Gallen's. So I feel like the disparity there is just so big that it would be pretty hard for him to overtake a guy like Alcantara. But as far as Gallen goes, he needs to pitch extremely well the rest of the way. And he needs Alcantara to kind of continue to slip. And, maybe if his ERA gets closer to 3 by the end of the season and Gallen's is more of like a low 2, you could see how there might be an argument there.
Yeah, I would say the other thing about it is WAR is a bullshit stat, because if you can go to 2 major websites and they have different WARs and you have to like average them out.
Well, they're just calculating them differently. They're just 2 different.
It's a stupid stat. Yeah, I'm going to say it. If you can calculate it multiple ways and come up to different answers, then that's a bullshit stat. That's all I'm saying. I'm calling you out, StatCast, too, because I don't believe in everything you do.
All right, well, I'm going okay, if you're going to say that, then I have to nerd out and explain the difference between the two.
God.
All right,
nobody
we go.
Wants that.
Oh, no, everyone wants that.
Okay.
I can just tell in the chat, everyone wants it. So the difference is that Fangraphs... Jarek's falling asleep next to me as I speak. So Fangraphs WAR is based on FIP. So it's not based on your actual ERA or the number of runs you've actually given up. It's
oh my God. More boring than I thought it would be.
No. It's and then Baseball Reference WAR is based on the number of runs that you actually give up. So that's the difference between the two. So I prefer Fangraphs WAR personally because FIP tends to be more have more predictive value in my mind. Like I think it's a better It obviously doesn't measure how many runs you actually gave up, but I think it's a better measure of like how well the pitcher actually performed. Whereas Baseball Reference WAR is just sort of like, here's what happened. So there's definitely room for debate in terms of which one you would pick. But I just averaged them together because I didn't want to have to pick between the two. So I'm done. Okay. Yeah, I'm done.
My God. My question was going to be simple. Do we even want Zac Gallen to win the Cy Young Award? Because isn't this going to further complicate the Arizona Diamondbacks trying to sign him and keep him here long term?
Yeah, trying to keep him here.
Doesn't that just make it that like every award, everything, every time he sets himself apart as being like this like elite pitcher, I feel like it's just distancing the ability for the Diamondbacks to keep him here for a considerable amount of time. You know?
Yeah. Also, did you notice how many people in the chat said that they want it when we were talking about my explanation of the difference? See, the people understand me.
I see three people, Jesse. I see three human beings. There's just as many in this.
Nobody commented and said they didn't want it. That's all I'm saying. But no, it's a fair point. Scott Boras is Zac Gallen's agent, and you can bet, you can take it to the bank that if Zac Gallen wins a Cy Young Award, that's going to be a pretty big factor in contract negotiations moving forward. So I already think it's going to be pretty tough to get Zac Gallen to stick around here. It's going to take a big investment. I mean, it's not impossible. It's just going to take a really substantial investment at this point.
And be willing to spend the money on the guy that's special, right? I mean, we've seen Zac Gallen be special ever since we traded for him. Right, it was one of the few trades that the minute that we were done, even though the Diamondbacks gave up one of their biggest prospects, one of their biggest names, they still found themselves saying, "Hey, I think we might have won this one." Right? So
I mean, Jazz Chisholm, for those who are still keeping score between Chisholm and Zac Gallen, trying to figure out who won the trade. Yes, I'm sure everyone will forever. But Chisholm is not going to play through the end of the season. He's been out with injury for a couple of months now, but he was very good earlier in the season. I mean, he was an all-star for a reason.
He's just an exciting player. You know what I mean?
He's a flashy,
There's something about him that, like, even his numbers aren't going to be as good as people think of him being, I think. At times, right? But speaking of awards, speaking of Zac Gallen, maybe winning that Cy Young Award, Rawlings has introduced a new Golden Glove Award for special utility. Which is
called the Dalton Varsho.
It's the Dalton Varsho Award. We've agreed on that. It's the Dalton Varsho Award. It's introducing a new Rawlings Gold Glove Award that recognizes players with superior defensive ability to play multiple positions, according to Mike Thompson, the Chief Marketing Officer for Rawlings. So, Dalton Varsho, congratulations on winning the National League Special Utility Golden Glove.
We're just gonna give it to him right now.
Sean DePaz, by the way, had the best idea I think I've ever heard when it came to the Silver Slugger Award and the Gold Glove, and that is that when a player wins those, they should be allowed to use a Gold Glove or a silver bat the following season.
Are they made of like actual gold and silver? Or like,
fuck yes, they are. Now that you say that, that's absolutely what they are. Glove is dipped in gold. You're gonna have to figure that out some way. I don't know. No, you're
not going to win two of them in a row because it's going to be really hard to field the next year with that glove.
Every time you win one, we dip it again in gold. That's the way it works. It gets heavier every season.
It's going to look awesome though. You can
Brett Johnson in the comments says no, it's the All the Tools Award, and yes, that's officially what we will be calling that Gold Glove Award. I like that. Make sure, by the way, Jesse's article, you can get more on Zac Gallen, maybe winning the Cy Young Award over at gophnx.com. If you haven't signed up already, make sure to get yourself a membership. You can get an annual membership and you will get yourself a free t-shirt from the phnxlocker.com, or a month-to-month membership and you'll get your first month for just 50 cents. Regardless of your membership status, you will get access to our members-only Discord, members-only discounts over at the phnxlocker.com. And we might do stuff like invite you to our brand new studio and hang out with us here, which is something that we absolutely got to do with some of our members on Friday when we had our open house, our opening day, and it's been a blast. We've been really excited to be able to share this with you guys. If you haven't had a chance, check out the PHNX Sports Instagram Reels. You can get a little tour of our office if you haven't had a chance to see it. And of course, we want to thank our friends at More Furniture for hooking us up. This office has been a project of sponsors and a lot of people coming together to help us make this our new home. And we can't thank them enough because these people, these companies, they've been so incredibly generous. And we've had a chance to try out me and Jesse were just complaining that these chairs aren't from More Furniture. and we're mad about it. And we want some more furniture chairs in here. Because all the more furniture stuff is so comfortable. We're spoiled now. So we want to thank them and make sure to check out morefurniture.com if you haven't had a chance to do so. If you're looking for some furniture, maybe redo your office, get some nice leather recliners in there in time for football season. Also, if you're here watching the PHNX YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever we go live, and leave us a little thumbs up because Jesse loves the thumbs up. That's his favorite part about doing the show.
Yeah, it's how I mean, without the thumbs up on our videos,
it's how he validates
that's where my self-esteem comes from. Sure. So help me out here, people, please.
But a lot of self-esteem, a lot of in abundance right now, I think, in the minor league system for the Arizona Diamondbacks. If I was part of the front office, I would be over the moon with how things are going when it comes to Ryne Nelson, Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll, all of these guys, Stone Garrett, all of these guys in the season they're having coming up from the minor leagues, kind of having this, kind of this aura about them and like talking about them in a very mythological way, but then having them come up and contribute on this team in such a
mythological way.
Yeah, it's like Corbin Carroll was like a Pegasus or something, it seemed like, for a while there, right? But now what we're seeing is the next development, the next guys that we're excited about, and we have the minor league pitcher and player of the month. And of course, starting off things with our minor league, I don't know, we got the player or the pitcher? What do we got first? But let's go pitcher of the month. It's our guy, Brandon Pfaadt, of course, because he has just been incredible this month, last month, I should say, in August. 3-0 record, 2.03 ERA. This is for the Reno Aces. So keep Pacific that in Coast mind. League. Yeah. Look at that 0.81 whip. Look at that 2.03 ERA and that 151 opponent batting average. Like these are insane numbers for a part of the country that we know. It's kind of like Colorado, like what we talked about, Zac Gallen. You just know it's bad. Runs are going to be given up, and if you could keep it minimal, that it's a good thing. Well, those numbers right there would suggest that Brandon Pfaadt's been pretty damn good.
Not 32K in 3 games. No, that would be wild. But he has 3 wins. He has 3 wins, but I want to say he made 5 starts in the month altogether. I have to check to make sure. But yeah, he was outstanding. He was just outstanding in the month of August. It seems like Brandon Pfaadt his stock just continues to rise, really. I mean, I think people are still a little bit afraid to be bullish on a guy who was literally a Division II relief pitcher about 4 years ago. Yeah. And he wasn't even that good of a relief pitcher. When he pitched for Bellarmine in college, he actually wasn't that effective his first couple years there. So it's just remarkable what Brandon Pfaadt has been able to turn into in such a short amount of time. And he's the best pitching prospect the Diamondbacks have. I know a lot of people say Blake Walston has a higher ceiling, which I agree that could be a possibility. But Brandon Pfaadt has a higher floor. I mean, at this point, when you're putting up numbers like that in Reno, you feel pretty darn good that if you're doing that in Reno, you can come up to the big league level and at least be, a solid mid-rotation starter type. And I think he has potential for more. I mean, these numbers are not normal. Like, guys don't put up these kind of numbers in Reno very often. It is really extraordinary what he's done since being called up there. And the sky's the limit. The sky is really the limit as far as how good Brandon Pfaadt could be.
He's had so many ups and downs in his career. Like when you look at his path, his career path, his numbers from 2018 to now, they're all over the place, right? And I think.
Are you looking at his Bellarmine? His
Bellarmine numbers are quite all over the place too. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about in 2018, he had a 6.67 ERA to 2020, where he had a 1.38 ERA. Right now,
that was like a shortened, he made like a couple of starts. There wasn't even much to that season.
Right. It was 5 game starts in that season for the 1.38 ERA. 7 games total for the year that he had a 6.67. So both are still pretty small sample sizes, right? Yeah. I think what we've seen now, though, is a guy like Ryne Nelson kind of give us a different expectation, right? Like, sometimes when we see these numbers in the minor leagues, I don't know how much stock to put in them until they come up and could be at a major league level. Tommy Henry had the best numbers of any minor league pitcher we had there for a while, and then he came up, and after a couple of starts, things started to fall apart a bit for him. But Ryne Nelson is hitting velocity that we didn't even see him hit as a minor leaguer, right? And we suggested in the first game that it just might be to adrenaline and other factors, being excited that you're here at the big leagues. maybe trying a little harder, digging that little bit deeper to get that extra mile per hour or two. But people don't normally do that. Like people don't normally reach back and be like, oh, I'm going to hit 97 now, even though I've been hitting 95 consistently in the minor leagues.
He did hit 97 in the minors, but it wasn't with the consistency that we've seen so
it's
far.
Just like the 98 was like he's touched it, right? So it's still not saying like he's pitching 98, but the fact is that what we're seeing now is him be able to have a higher velocity in major leagues, which is great and needed. But again, it does make you question whether that's still just a limited time frame for him to be able to do that, and if he'll come back down to earth after a couple of starts.
I mean, my thought, Derek, is if Ryne Nelson had a 5.43 ERA in Reno and hasn't given up a run yet in the big leagues, that means then what is Brandon Pfaadt going to do?
He's going to DH and he's going to hit more home runs and he's going to score more runs than he gives up.
There we go. Right? There we go. Yeah.
Does that make his negative ERA? Is that how that works? If you don't give up a run, but then you get multiple runs batted in yourself,
you have to ask Shohei Ohtani. See what he has to say. I'm sure he has some experience.
You let me down, by the way, yesterday, Shohei. Don't even talk to me with your one base. I needed you to have 2 bases. Of course, that's me on the Underdog Fantasy app, so that's a whole other thing. Jesse, though, we also have our minor league player of the month, which is our friend Leandro Cedeno, hitting the cover off the ball, right? Absolutely doing some big things for the Sod Poodles, and honestly, just continuing this conga line that we've talked about of Diamondbacks prospects that are ready to come up and ready to do big things in the major leagues.
What word did you just use?
Conga line.
I have no idea what that means.
You don't even know what a conga line is, Jesse?
No, I have no
idea. Oh my God, Jesse
no, I have no
Friedman.
Idea. I don't know why I say these things on the show, because instantly, the moment I start a statement with "I don't know" blank, I'm basically just asking for it, and this is the reaction. But go ahead, tell me, what is it?
It's a dance formation where people get in a line and they dance to a God
I don't like line dancing. I don't even
know how to explain it because I've never had to explain anything like this before. Anytime I say conga line, people know what I mean. Jesus Christ.
So it's like a line dance, like formation
it's not a line
thing?
dance.
No.
You get in a line and you move around the floor. You kind of like go around the dance floor, maybe around the room. It's done at like weddings and parties and things like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I just didn't know what it was called. I didn't know what it was.
I'm gonna leave.
There's some serious commotion going on.
Look it! They're doing it! See, this is a conga line, Jesse.
Hey, I get it. I know what it is.
Please. See, this is a conga line.
I understand now. I actually get it. You know what?
This is absolutely crazy to me.
This is the best possible explanation I ever could have possibly hoped for.
You do the show by yourself.
Yeah, you go. Yeah. That was incredible. I don't think there's a better way for me to learn these things. This is what I need. This is what I need during the show. I need like a team of about 10 people who are willing and ready to explain things to me that I don't know. So yeah, that was amazing. That was incredible.
I'm so glad that we got that visual aid. And don't say I don't give you guys enough visuals. Like that was fantastic. What are we even talking about now?
I don't know.
You were talking about the player of the month.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. What did this have to do with Leandro Cedeno again?
I said that there was a conga line of young talent getting ready to come up into the majors. Then you said, and I quote, "What is that?" And then I said, "What is what?" And then you said,
"All right, I'm caught up now. I got it." So Leandro Cedeno, 398, 453 on base percentage. He's slugging almost 700 in the month of August. He's also the guy who hit the 527-foot home run. That may be how most of you know him. Brian says we need a Teach Jesse segment. I fully admit that there is some use
Jesse
to that.
knows like every stat thing possible that I would never know, but then doesn't know what a conga line is.
No. Yeah.
Anyway. We were talking about Leandro. He's with the Reno Aces now, right? Is that right? Or was he?
He was just promoted. Yep. Yes. I want to say it's the Reno Aces at this point.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So those numbers actually happen in Amarillo, but he has since been promoted to Reno. That's where he'll finish off the year.
Well, another fine acquisition for the Diamondbacks, and I mean, again, it's fun to hear about what these guys are doing. So that way we know when they come up, what to expect, right? Like Corbin Carroll, Max Simpson says, just one demonstration for today. I hope I don't have to demonstrate the horror for you. My shoulder can't take that. Look, Max, one day at a time. All right,
one day at a time.
One day at a time. You being here for us, but again, just some very exciting things from the Arizona Diamondbacks farm system. And the one thing that we kind of noticed was that the D-backs do have a 40-man roster spot open. Their 40-man roster is currently at 39. So we have to wonder if that spot might be being held for Mr. Brandon Pfaadt there, who seems like he's ready to make his debut in the majors this season.
So Torey Lovullo yesterday said that the Diamondbacks most likely will not stick with a 5-man rotation. It'll probably go back to a 6-man rotation, which means there's some starting pitcher coming up that we don't know yet, right? There's somebody coming up. So
we talked, it could be Tommy Henry.
It could be Tommy Henry. Yeah, there's really 3 candidates in my mind. It could be Tommy Henry, it could be Brandon Pfaadt, or it could be Dre Jameson, who's also a pitcher with the Reno Aces who we expected might get a call up at some point this season. So I think Jameson has an inside track on this. We've talked about this before. He is Rule 5 eligible this winter, and so he needs a 40-man roster spot before then, whereas Brandon Pfaadt doesn't. And so the Diamondbacks might sort of give him the edge in that. I know Brandon Pfaadt also hasn't pitched that much in Reno yet, where we've seen the Diamondbacks tend to want to make sure guys play like a substantial amount of time in Reno before they call them up most of the time. So I think it's probably likely, I would say, that we see Pfaadt next year rather than this year, as sad as maybe that is. But Dre Jameson will also be really fun to see pitch at this level. He hasn't had a great year in Reno, all things considered, but he has big time stuff. And as we've seen, with Ryne Nelson, sometimes guys who don't have the best of numbers in AAA but have good stuff can come up to the majors, and if things kind of click into place, they can go from being a liability in Reno to being a very, very good starter in the big leagues pretty quickly. So I think that's also a possibility.
The Diamondbacks might make some strange roster moves, some that don't make sense, like not calling Brandon Pfaadt up purely because of the Rule 5 draft, right?
Yeah.
The Rule 5 draft is minor leaguers who were signed at 18 and have at least 5 years of professional experience, or signed at 19 and have 4 years of professional experience. So the Diamondbacks just have to be careful on who they leave out there available in the Rule 5 draft. And if you don't think they take it seriously enough, just know that when I was out there covering their minor league camp, they came up to me and specifically had a list of guys that they'd prefer that I didn't show off how good they were doing, just in case scouts and things were watching, right? Like, they take this very seriously. Sure. They very much want to either protect these guys, or they want the other teams to forget that they even exist, so that they don't think about coming and snatching them up in this, Rule 5 draft. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Diamondbacks do here between now and the end of the season. And of course, we will be covering it. We're not going away. We're here all season long. Of course, we'll be here through the offseason. And, we only have so many games left here at Chase Field. So make sure to go check them out. Jesse's going to be there tonight. I refuse to go again.
Oh, you have to protect the swimming pool.
No,
who else is going to do it there?
Because that's the problem, is they're going to put me in charge of protecting the swimming pool. And what can I do against? Oh, look, man.
Are you saying you couldn't
form a conga line in front of it with the fans?
There we go.
That's a good idea. I'm going to bring the PHNX crew to help me
they just continuously circle it while singing that song. Yeah, exactly.
All right. But if you do want to come watch that, which I would suggest is a good idea, you might want to get your tickets from our friends over at Gametime, which is the hottest new ticketing app that makes it easier to ever to score last minute tickets to concerts, sporting events, and shows. Save up to 60% on tickets, like Jesse has been doing for years when you buy your tickets last minute. It's great for us. It's great for you. It's great for everybody, especially if you're a procrastinator and you want to get your tickets at the last minute. I don't even call people procrastinators. I just think it's like FOMO, right? It's like fear of missing out. Yeah. Last minute, you see your friends are going, or you find out someone's in town, and you're like,
or you find out that Merrill Kelly and Clayton Kershaw are
or
pitching
you find out those two guys are on the bump for sure, and that's a great time to go get your tickets. If you love PHNX, you'll love Gametime. You love sports, you love concerts, you love all that stuff. Make sure to grab your tickets over at Gametime. It's the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description below, and of course, make sure to check out that app that Jesse finds so aesthetically pleasing. He loves the app.
I do. Yeah, sometimes I go on, I don't need tickets for Diamondbacks games at this point, but sometimes I'll still go on the Gametime app and just kind of scroll through.
Yeah, just
because it's just really beautiful to just like scroll through. They have pictures of like what your view would be from each seat and everything.
It's
so
nice.
You really get like an inside look at what your experience would be like. So highly recommend.
Tomorrow is the grand opening with cold beer and cheeseburgers over at Chase Field, and I'm gonna be out there. I think Jesse might be out there too. We're gonna be checking out and investigating if you can, because I think from what I've heard, they're not gonna have an entrance any longer to enter from the street to just go to cold beer and cheeseburgers like they did with the old TGI Fridays.
Really? So it's like
interested.
only open during games?
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think that's the case, but we'll invest.
Yeah, because so far there is no entrance right now. It just might be temporary. That might be part of it too. Right now it's requiring us to enter through Chase Field. So we'll keep you updated on how that's going to go. But that was always one of my favorite places to watch a game. We were talking about that. So I just loved
Fridays front row.
I loved being at Fridays front row and just the atmosphere, being at the baseball game. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't need a good seat. I didn't need to see the game. I just wanted to be there and eat some, fish and chips and drink some beers and have a good time. So we'll be out there tomorrow, so make sure to check us out, and we'll hopefully give you guys, if you have any questions, anything you want answered about cold beer and cheeseburgers, shoot us an email or shoot us a tweet or whatever. I don't know how do people communicate these days? Tweets? Emails? How do we contact? Do we still phone each other? I don't know anymore. But I do tell you this, Underdog Fantasy, of course, broke my heart this weekend because and I'll blame Underdog Fantasy. I blame Aaron Rodgers is who I blame. But I was so close to winning $500, Jesse. I was this close. And Aaron Rodgers just had to have just a terrible performance. But it's been very fun on Underdog Fantasy. I've enjoyed all the different options. If you haven't had a chance to check out the app, it is the best way to enhance your football season with pick'em games, as well as they have like drafts that you can do for like just a weekend with like a couple of friends and such. So there's lots of fun options over on the Underdog Fantasy app. But the thing I've been doing, you just look for a couple of players, you check out their stats. They'll give you a higher or a lower than total for a stat. For baseball pitchers, they give you like a pitch count. So that's one thing that a lot of guys around the office have been liking, is doing the lower than 102 pitches pitch count kind of thing for a couple of pitchers. You wouldn't believe how easy it is sometimes to win your money over at the Underdog Fantasy app. Just don't include Aaron Rodgers. That's my advice. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. You can search in the App Store or click the link below in our show notes. Sign up with promo code PHNX, and Underdog will actually double your first deposit up to $100. So make sure to sign up for Underdog Fantasy. That's promo code PHNX and get on the action today. And just like Jesse said, it's very aesthetically pleasing. It's a beautiful app.
There you go.
You got plenty of options.
That's all that matters for me.
You know what I like? Like, I've gotten some betting apps, especially with all the sports betting that's going on now. Some of them do make it too hard, I feel like, for you to find the options you're looking for.
Yeah.
Underdog, it's got all the sports right there on top. Real easy click. Doesn't even give you like every game. They only have limited options that you can pick from for the higher and lower. So it kind of keeps it a little bit like, I don't know. It's like sometimes there's too many options for me. I don't know where to even start.
Sure.
Like, if you give me a smaller list, it's easy for me to figure it out. But get your money over at the Underdog Fantasy app, and make sure to use our code of PHNX. That's all we got for you guys today, but we're going to give something away. We're in the giving away mood, and it's getting around this time of the year, right? So we want to wind down. We want to make sure to honor you guys, the true D-backs fans out there. So we actually have one of these Zac Gallen giveaway T-shirts from Zac Gallen Night, I guess you could say it. Is that what it was? It was Zac Gallen Night. It's the silhouette T-shirt. It's got his beautiful locks. It's got his glasses on it, and you can have it. You can win it by going to our Twitter account. We're going to put up a tweet this afternoon. Just retweet it, like it, share it with your friends, all that stuff, and we will make sure to.
How many friends do they have to tag this time?
Jesse, I'm not gonna do that.
I think we should do 10.
This guy's a
monster.
monster.
They all have to tag 10 friends.
He wants you guys to start a new social media account, and he wants you to do all sorts of stuff. But
I don't have 10 for. I'm just kidding.
See?
But you don't want to make it too many. Then
that's sad. You made me sad now.
Like when Underdog Fantasy emailed me and said, "Leah, do you have any friends?
Wait, Underdog sends you emails asking if you have friends?
Well, they sent Leah emails. Mine was like, "You have too many friends. I don't know who you're going to ask."
They wanted me to share with my friends, but it was just funny because they said, "Do you have any friends?" Was the subject line.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, man, but good stuff. But all right, we'll have that on our Twitter account, so make sure to look out for that. Of course, that Twitter account is PHNX_D-backs. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. This guy is at Jesse N. Friedman. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for spending your lunch with us and joining us, living through the misery that is this bullpen and this season when it comes to all of these losses chalked up by our relievers. But next season, right? Next season we thank you guys again for being here. On behalf of Jesse and myself, we always appreciate your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but God damn it, it's so much more fun when your freaking bullpen can actually win a game.